This is Clay's Eastern earthenware tile. These are handcrafted tiles from a wood-fired kiln, which means there's rich variation in both glaze, color, thickness, and size. Their instructions say this tile requires a seasoned installer with years of experience with artisan tiles. That's why I'm making this video to show you how it's done.
Hey guys, Frankie Martinez here with How to Tile Like a Pro. As you can see, this tile is very handmade and there's a very special way you gotta set this. It's not for the beginner tile installer, but I'm gonna show you my tricks, my secrets on how to set this and make it look beautiful and amazing. So we're gonna install it in the shower over here. Okay, so this is the place we're gonna install it. We got these two walls already floated. We're gonna end up doing the ceiling and the floor and the dam. It's gonna look amazing. Let's get to it.
Once you get the measurements of the area to be tiled, you're ready for tip number 1. Dry lay the area to be tiled. Since these tiles are handcrafted, the sheets are not all the same size or square. Some sheets work better with others, and some work when you rotate them. Just lay them the best that you can, and we'll fine-tune them later. Tip number 2, blend the shades. The majority of my sheets were lighter, with a couple boxes of darker sheets which I separated. With this view of the area, you're able to grab some darker sheets and insert them in places that have too many light ones close together. This creates a natural blend of light and dark throughout the area. Tip number 3, install sequentially. Since you spent some time putting the sheets together on the floor, make sure you install them in the proper order. I grabbed a stack of each row from left to right, with the top sheet being the first one to install. Tip number 4, apply pressure to each tile. Since some tiles are thicker than others, tampering with the rubber float may not embed all the tiles properly in the thin set. After the sheet is on the wall, press every single tile into the mortar bed with your fingers to ensure a good bond. Tip number 5, level each row. Here you see this sheet is higher and some are lower. We're going to raise the sheet slightly up to touch the level. Now that we have a level line established, we can move to tip number 6. Okay, before we go to my biggest secret, tip number 6, I need to ask you a favor. We're putting the final touches on our long-awaited How to Tile Like a Pro app. We'll be releasing it early 2023, but before we do, I have to ask you a couple questions. Can you help me out? I put a link to the questions in the description of this video. Thank you so much in advance. Now back to tip number 6. Isolate and adjust rows as needed. Since we raised most of the sheets, it left a gap at the bottom and the joints aren't lining up with this sheet that we didn't raise. So I'm looking for where the joint started to get off, and I see it starts with this second row. So I'm gonna use a sharp blade to cut the mesh holding the sheet together. This allows me to move the bottom of the sheet without moving the leveled top portion. Since the original gap was so big, you can separate a few more rows so that the spread is gradual. This makes the gap disappear and allows the sheets to fit and look the way they should. We're going to repeat this process wherever we see a noticeable gap at the bottom. Once the horizontal lines are fixed, start the same process with the vertical lines. Some sheets need more time than others, but you can use this method to adjust the sheets to get the look that you want. Important note, please be aware that this method works great for me because I'm installing this tile over a floated mud surface. If you install this tile over any kind of waterproof membrane or waterproof board, striking a blade through the joints will compromise the waterproofing. This is just another reason why I love installing over a mud-floated surface. Tip number 7, miter out corners. Clay follows the international model of no trim and recommends mitering outside corners. Because these tiles are different thicknesses and so small, I chose to miter by hand, but you can use the miter feature of the saw if you feel more comfortable. I like to make sure there's plenty of thin set supporting the mitered edge, then I clean out an opening for grout. Tip number 8, wash out protruding joints. When grouting, smear the grout like you normally would, but when washing, be sure to wash out the grout joints adjacent to protruding tiles. This makes sure the grout is even and doesn't build up around the edges of the tiles that are thicker. Bonus tip, since there's no trim, Clay recommends doubling up the drywall to be flush with a finished tile. On this project, since all the corners had rounded plaster, the homeowner decided to have the plaster guys round the corners up to the tile. Here's the finished product, just waiting on glass doors and shower fixtures. This product has a truly unique beauty. I put a link to their website in the description. Let me know in the comments if this video helped you out. For more tile mastery, watch this video on how to install another very unique tile, front-mounted transparent glass. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe for the best tile content.